Welcome to the Women in Vinyl podcast with Jen DiEugenio, founder of Women in Vinyl, and contributor Robin Raymond. This podcast facilitates conversations with those working in the vinyl record industry to educate, demystify, and diversify the vinyl community.
Send a huge thank you to my friend Dan at Riding Easy Records and the amazing women in Blackwater, Holylight for the use of their song Motorcycle. Check out ridingeasyrex.com to order this and their new record, Silence Motion. Thank you for hanging out with us for episode 19 of the Women in Vinyl podcast and another Tech Talk, literally. On this episode, we will be discussing some of our favorite things. One of the questions we get asked most frequently is what gear we like, what we recommend, and use. As part of this, we'll also be doing an insane giveaway, so be sure to listen on how to enter. And, disclaimer, all of the products as part of this package we do use, and we've asked to be a part of this episode. So, let's get into it. Robin, what is your setup?
I have a couple. I have like the one that I cut records on every day. And then I have two extraneous listening playback systems at my place of residence as well. So, and then I have a teeny tiny 3-inch turntable as well.
Yeah. Lots of setups for the two of us.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of a problem. I feel like once you get to a certain a certain point in your life, you kind of like accumulate gear. Mm-hmm. Especially if your parents or your grandparents or somebody in your family is a record enthusiast, then sure. There's a way that you accumulate their gear, maybe without them knowing, or maybe because they have generously given you something. So
you just start to slowly move them into your room.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm going to take these 12 records and you're never going to see them again.
Literally. Yeah.
And that was kind of the same thing with my first record player that I still have and that I have pretty much listened to for the entirety of my life is my mom's. Nice. And it's a dual 506.
What do you recommend when someone comes to you with, wanting to get into vinyl? What's the starter turntable?
I always started with like, what's your budget?
Right.
And then I'm like, what does your living space look like? And how much are you willing to spend? Because those are I think they're going to guide the process a little bit better than me being like, oh, well, you should totally get this. Like one of my best friend in the entire world was like, oh, I got a record player. And I was like, oh, great. And I was like, what speakers did you get? And he's like, oh, you need speakers? I was like, bless you. Yes, you do. He's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's, something that we should definitely talk about. And I was also thinking that within this conversation, we should touch on, that thing that slides up and down that might change your record from 33 to 45, because there's big controversy in the news right now.
Do you mean the redeeming narrative of this entire year for me? Because that...
Yeah, and I just want to say that at Women in Vinyl, we are 100% behind people getting into this and not knowing this kind of stuff, but don't leave a bad review until you've Googled, maybe? I don't know.
Not even that, just like, don't get mad when things aren't exactly the way that you think that they're supposed to be without maybe trying some variables.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because she doesn't deserve all of that she's getting.
No.
But I mean, we digress a little bit. I've got I've got a 506, a dual 506. That's a German turntable. So I mean, they're very fancy. They're not very fancy at all, but it is my very favorite and like nostalgic record player. And then I have two Tech 12s, MK2s. If for those of you that are playing along at home, those are like the DJ standard battle rockin', drop the beat on the ones and twos turntables. And that's what I cut everybody's favorite lathe cut records on. I've got two of those. So one is for playback here at Casa de Remo, and then the other one is what I cut records on every day. Then I have some Klipsch, Klipsch speakers. Klipsch. And I have a vintage Pioneer receiver. I also have like a digital receiver too, a phono preamp, because not all turntables and amplifiers speak the same language. So sometimes you need that little go-between for people too. And then I have another tiny little pair of speakers, and I can't remember what make they are. I think they're Pioneers, but.
And for people that maybe don't know, and I'll go through sort of what we have too, but maybe explain what your receiver is and what a preamp is, so that people, because I think maybe some listeners may be starting with an all-in-one situation. So
I mean, it's so a preamp kind of goes before the amplifier in the preamp. So that's why that's called that. So it goes from your record player into the preamp, which is sometimes a little box and sometimes a bigger box. And that just like has connections to be able to facilitate your turntable plugging into a receiver. And the receiver is what powers your speakers. So the phono preamp is like to amplify a signal so that your turntable and your receiver can speak nicely to each other and speak the same power language. And then because you can't just plug your turntable into speakers all the time. So sometimes you need that go between. Sometimes you have an all-in-one and it's totally fine. Some of the
like if you put your needle down and you can sort of hear something, but you can't, that's like when you would need one.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll always hear, like, that's the beauty of record players. You always hear the needle actually like playing in the groove.
Right.
Which is the best part. It's the magic. But then it's about the amplification of that signal and trying to figure out how to get that into your speaker holes. So an amplifier and a receiver are sometimes necessary depending on the setup that you're after. As you go into higher echelons of price points, gear stratifies into all of those different things. So you can have different phono preamps, different receivers. And the receiver is sometimes dedicated to one thing and is sometimes the thing that we all love to press buttons on when we were little kids. So there's the like tape, CD, DVD, phono, radio. Yep. So
like
that
one of our setups is just like a JVC.
Yeah.
Just stereo receiver. So it has all the little buttons. Sometimes still I'm like, why isn't the sound coming out? Which one do I need to unpush?
Before you run to the internet and say, this thing is garbage.
Or yell for Ray.
Help me.
But
I mean, and that's the thing. Like sometimes, and that's the 100% worst thing about moving too.
Yes. Yep.
Is unplugging all of your things and then remembering sometimes your signal path to be like, how did I make this sound amazing again? Oh, right. And one of the biggest things that the phono preamp offers in terms of utility is there's a grounding post on a phono preamp. And sometimes if you're getting like a hum or like a buzz or something from your turntable, that can just be your ground isn't appropriate. So sometimes it's just a little screw that needs to be facilitated. Sometimes it's on your receiver. Sometimes it's on your phono preamp. It's never on your speakers. Don't do that. But that can sometimes just alleviate a world of pain just by knowing where your grounding is as well.
Yeah. And I think for someone, brand wise, so we have 5 1200s, but excessive, but
No,
Ray,
no, that's fine.
Ray, DJs, and I have one here behind me. And then a VPI player as sort of our main living space one.
Yeah.
And so those, the 1200s, going back to sort of the pitch control and things like that, the 1200s and the Audio Technica, I think if you can't find a 1200, but you want something that is similar as far as being, a powerhouse and easy to use and doesn't require a belt, I think the Audio Technica LP120 is pretty good. I know a lot of plants use them to QC as sort of a mid-range turntable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for things, there's also the U-turn. I think those are nice, like for somebody starting out, because you can build onto them by adding different things to them. I would recommend the VPI player. It's just it's a little pricey, and it does have the belt drive. And this could be part of the thing that was confusing people, is if they've never moved the belt on it, and there isn't an easy slide for your pitch control. They might not know that you have to move that over. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that can be scary for people, that the whole mechanical part of, okay, and now you're going to take this belt off and slip it over this other thing. And you're like,
especially when it like slips down and you're like,
yeah, that, I mean, and there's a whole other category within turntables too, which is like belt drive or direct drive.
Yep. Like you don't want to DJ on a belt drive.
Exactly. No, you don't.
Don't do that.
can confirm, watched once in real time and was hysterical, but it was not me. But lots of lulls were had. But that's a thing too, like to understand, parameters around what you want to buy for your home system. Like, if you're obsessed about making sure that it's exceptionally quiet and like all of those things, audiophiles beware, you're not going to love these conversations. You might want to look at a belt drive or something else versus a direct drive, because it's not going to, because of the way that the motor is, sometimes people can say that they hear that in their signal path. So belt drives might be your second kind of turntable, because you're finally comfortable with interacting with your turntable.
And I think if you do go and you start with, one of the turntables that we've talked about, like an Audio Technica, for example, they do have a built-in preamp.
Yeah.
So look for that kind of information too when you're buying something, whether it has that or not, so that you know what else you need to get. You don't want to spend, $300 and then you're like, oh, I need more things.
Now I need more things.
So moving into off of turntables and into other, do you have a certain recommendation that you like for a preamp?
I have a couple different preamps. I mean, I'm not shilling for Amazon, but they have a really great intro preamp. I think it's like $12. And it's like pretty user friendly. It's got a switch on the back.
Yeah, I was just looking up the one. Yeah, I was just looking up the one behind me, because it's just like it's not very expensive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to. I mean, again, if you want to go down the audiophile hi-fi garden path, you can spend a lot of money on preamps, because it's all about signal purity and like maintaining power and like decreasing noise and all of that kind of stuff. And we're totally here for that. But if you're just looking to like play some records and like get into the scene, there's really, really, really budget friendly ways to do it. I also have a Rolls red box And that's the one that I use at the studio.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that one wasn't super expensive either.
No, they're about $50.
Yeah.
You can get them on Amazon too. Not that we suggest that, but yeah, it's a Rolls VP29.
Yeah, and it's see, we are so in sync that even our preamps are. I love it. And yeah, I mean, it's got, you know, gold tips and all that kind of stuff, so it's, you know, insulated, and I like it at the studio. I think it's great. I haven't had any complaints with it. Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, look on the box of your turntable, or, you know, everybody's got the ability to kind of look at a couple of turntables and a price point, and on the internet even there's been some really great blogs and stuff. I think Wired has a really good one that shows different turntables at different price points and shows whether they have preamps in them and stuff too.
Yeah, there's a good Pitchfork article too. We can link. I actually contributed to it, and Ben Blackwell as well from Third Man. So on to cartridges. One of the generous sponsors that we have is Ortofon, and we reached out to them because we really love what they offer. They have DJ cartridges. They have hi-fi as well. So as part of our giveaway, there will be a blue and a red available.
Very much like the Matrix, you guys. Yeah. Very much. Yeah, Ortofon, I mean, and you can go listen to our episode with DJ Mona Lisa, and you can hear about the different DJ cartridges that she has tried out with Ortofon as well. I mean, they're battle tested. Once the Shure white labels, RIP.
Yes, there was a big sadness when they stopped making them.
Yeah, those were my DJ go-tos. Those were.
We still have some hanging on, the M447. But and there is a new company called Jyco that we also talk about in the Mona Lisa episode. They are supposed to sort of be the replacements for the Shure, but they're so hard to get that every time Turntable Lab or anyone posts about them, immediately they're gone. So I'm hopeful at some point we'll get one and be able to let you know how those have fared. So Ortofon has the 2M Blue, which is the next upgrade from the red. And so both of those are part of our giveaway pack, which is awesome. You can upgrade to the blue from the red to get a little more definition, depth, detail to what's already really great with the red. So either one, I think you're in a really great spot. And then if you wanted to upgrade even more, they have the 2M Bronze. And it's definitely more costly, and it does require you to fit a new cartridge. So, you know, if you try these out, or if you already have them and you want to upgrade to the next one, by all means, you should check it out. And then even above that is the black. And I've only had the opportunity to hear that in person at work. We have a hi-fi listening room, and it sounds fantastic for sure. But as our everyday listening experience, I have the red. We have it on our VPI player. Our QC department also uses it. So it really is a great cartridge, and I definitely recommend it. A good balance performance-wise overall. So the other thing to check out is Ortofon has a really great FAQ on their website that talks about hooking these up, what they recommend for cleaning, all kinds of different things. So go to their website, check out the FAQ, and we really appreciate them. And then moving into speakers. So we also have Klipsch, which feels like saying Worcestershire. It's very hard to say. But they're gorgeous. I would like to try some newer ones. Ours are floor speakers, old school ones. And then these behind me, Mika, they're good. Again, they weren't expensive. There's also Kanto Audio, which are very nice. They're a little pricey. Use them at work. So I'd recommend those. You know, it's just budget. Again, like, you don't have to go crazy. you can find something that sounds good at all kinds of price ranges.
Yeah. I mean, I love a vintage pair of speakers.
Totally.
I still have my mom's like 3-foot tall Sony home speakers as well.
Yeah.
Too. And they're like 8 watt and they're ridiculous. And they're probably 80 pounds a piece.
Right.
So they're really fun to move with, especially across the country. Totally recommend.
All right. So what kind of accessories? I mean, we have Glowtronics. They make slip mats. Check out our store. You can buy one. They're awesome. Use the code Spinderella to get 2 for a discount.
Oh.
And yeah, Glowtronics is great. They do dye sublimation slip mats, so you can get full color for not a lot of money. We have a code with them, Women in Vinyl 15, to get 15% off. But truly, they're really great quality. You can choose from different thicknesses. You can get DJ slip mats. So yeah, check them out. They also do, I think, tapestries and such as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and for those people that might be just starting their vinyl journey, a slip mat is, I think, a necessity. And some people might not totally agree with that. But a slip mat is what you would put in between your naked turntable bass and your super prized record. Any of your records, really. It just kind of decreases the amount of wear, static, any kind of rubbing that might happen. Increases the life of your records and decreases the amount of like wear on the surface too. So sometimes slip mats are cork, sometimes they're felt, sometimes they're rubber. There's a bunch of different ones. We obviously love Glowtronics. You've been in the Women in Vinyl store. You love how the Women in Vinyl slip mat looks. You know it. So check out their store. You can use our code. You can get your own slip mats made. But that's what those are for. So
I prefer a felt. What do you think?
I don't know if it's just the climate here, but it's super staticky all of the time.
That's how I feel about the cork. Every single time I take a record off, it's like stuck.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe this makes me a record snob. Maybe this is because I have too many of a variety of formats, but you need a stiffer slip mat. Try and say that 3 times fast. You need a stiffer slip mat when you have a floppier record. So if you're going to play an X-ray record, if you're going to play a flexi, if you're going to play, like anything in that kind of vein, you need something to stand up and give the record a little bit more of a chance. So if it's on felt, it's not going to perform as well if you have a flexi or an X-ray record or something like that. So I prefer to use cork for those for sure. I have a rubber slip mat at the studio because I need those records to not move while I'm cutting them. So rubber, and obviously like decreases the static as well. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my slip mat situation. I did have some sweet Cadillac felt slip mats when I was DJing. Those were really great. It looks slick. I mean, I think it depends a lot on climate.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
And personal preference, really. Like you really can't have too many slip mats.
True. I mean, we have so many that I've framed them and put them as wall art. So I kind of want to do that with my Cadillac ones because they were like my OG DJing ones, and I'll probably never DJ again. So when you listen to records, are you a headphone person typically, or is that a studio thing more, or not at all?
I feel like I live in headphones, whether I'm walking the dog or trying to drown out the city. I listen to the studio environment is speakers and headphones because I want to make sure that my records are good both ways. And like when I'm quote unquote master. It's in headphones and on big speakers to make sure that that translates well. At home, I don't want to be in headphones, so it's always just speakers.
Yeah, same. For this though, I'm like, what am I using? Audio Technica.
Yeah. I think you have Audio Technicas on your head. And I have, what are these ones called? I think they're called Direct Sound. I got them from Sweetwater. Not a sponsor, but they could be. Sweetwater, get at us. These ones I really like. They're sound isolating to a new degree, which was really nice, especially for the studio because my vacuum noise is really loud. So this gives me really good isolation. They are closed back, so
yeah,
you get ear fatigue a little bit more than you would with an open back.
Also potentially earring fatigue, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, I gotta take. I can't.
But when I have earring glasses combo and we're recording, it's yeah. But I do really like these. They are closed back too.
How do you feel about Bluetooth turntables? Because that, to me, feels like opposite land.
Yeah, I've not invested any time in the Bluetooth turntable.
I just don't. I don't get. Like, I appreciate the forward thinking. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get why you would have a turntable that would Bluetooth to a speaker just to walk around your house, because that doesn't make sense to me. Instead of putting sound in your ear holes, when you want to put no sound in your ear holes, our buddies over at Eargasm are concerned with your hearing health, as they should be, and as you should be, because that goes away. It does, trust me. And
it's important to a lot of us that are in the music business.
Oh man,
just sort of important.
If I could go back to younger self, I would be like, listen here, Missy. In your future, you're going to be doing this for a long time. So just be nicer.
Yes.
Because I've definitely lost some frequencies, and that's problematic and troubling. I do love the way that your ear cells burn out though, because if you've ever actually lost a frequency, you hear that tone and it's like wee, and then it dies out, and that's literally a swan song of that tone. That's that ear cell dying, and you're never good. That's the last time that you'll ever hear that tone, and your ears just like say goodbye, because this is the last time that you'll ever hear it. And you're like, oh, bye, no. Like, I think it's kind of a beautiful thing that the body does, but it's like also kind of tragic, but it's,
yes,
I've heard it too many times.
Yes. So we don't want you to hear that.
No. So head over to Eargasm. They are giving us 10% off with a code Women in Vinyl.
Yeah, I have to say I got a pair as well, and they are part of our giveaway bundles as well.
Heck
They
yeah.
have this really like weatherproof, waterproof case to put them in, so you can put it on your keychain. So like if you're going to a show or something and you don't want to be obvious about with like big foam earplugs, you can't see these. They're clear. They have 2 different sizes to fit in your ear. Like super cool, like classy looking package. So
yeah,
our kind of teal box versus Tiffany, I suppose.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, little blue boxes that actually take care of your ear holes. Mine are on the way, I think. So that
Awesome.
is very exciting. Because I have raging tinnitus, and it's awful. So I love to spend time in the quiet, as much as that might surprise people. But yeah, look after your ears. Check out Eargasm. We love them, and you might love them too. And let us know.
Yeah.
The other accessories that you could get for your turntable are adapters for little 45s. And weights as well to distribute more weight on the middle of the spindle and to make that record more one piece with the entire turntable system. There's no wow, there's no flutter. Suck it down, make it play better. I think you guys have a couple of different weights, say, Jen, over there.
I have a
in
weight.
Ray and Jen land.
I have a weight that a label that I like, Writing Easy Records. They put out some nice weights, so I got one of those. But I think Turntable Lab has some that you can get. There's also really cool 45 adapters. They aren't the ones that you've probably seen in the little design. They're metal. Mm-hmm. It's if you go to Sure Shot Shop. Again, try to say that fast.
No.
SureShotShop.com. You can create custom ones. So Ray made me one that has like a vertigo swirl on the top. Really cool. They're nice and heavy, so it's easy to pop them in. Nice. Versus like the old school ones where you have to kind of finagle it in. Yeah. Whole.
I would love to make some like 45 adapters for Red Spade. I feel like that
you should. Rad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was a DJ that I used to know that used to just like put them all, like put a bunch in his record bag, and then he would just like write his website on them and just like toss them out like they were guitar picks at a show.
Totally.
Like, yes, that's functional, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean and then there's like cleaning stuff.
Yes.
Which we also love. Clean records sound good.
Yes.
Gooder.
Cleaner records.
Cleaner records sound gooder. And, as we know and love, our good friends over at GrooveWasher equip us nicely with brushes and an incredible record wash. That is a lovely spray that comes with a label cover so that you don't disrupt your label colors and get anything on there. That's super fun.
We have a nice custom walnut handle that has our logo on it that you can also purchase, and they have given us a code Women in Vinyl 10 for 10% off if you want anything at their shop. They're also part of our giveaway bundle, so you'll get one of their
Mondo.
You'll get one of their Mondo packs. So pretty much everything you need to clean. I was hoping for this episode, I wanted to try the glue situation, but I needed to do it overnight, so we'll have to do that at some point as part of just for fun. Let's see. Let's do it.
Yeah. There's a company from, I think they're from Italy, and they have a fluid that's like that. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like peeling it off would be satisfying, but I need to find like just a thrift store record to try it on because I don't think I could do it on anything I own. We also have these sticky things. They are sticky rollers. And those are fun. So
like silly putty on a
you can roll them over the record and they will pick up all the dust. Again, Turntable Lab has some of those too. The one that they have looks like massive, so it's like a steamroller for the record. In
one room you're making sourdough, in the other room you're rolling pin on your turntable. That sounds great.
And we talked about the VPI cleaner on Maria's episode.
Yeah.
So if you have the money to spend, I definitely recommend those with the vacuum and the fluid. Those are amazing. There's also one called by the brand Okinoki, which is fun to say. Same kind of price point as the VPI. So yeah, check those out too.
And I mean, there's this, I haven't tried a spin clean yet, but I do want to try it. I feel like that would give me a little bit of anxiety to do it, but I also would be fascinated by it too. I feel like it's like a little thing that I could just watch all day.
Yeah.
Totally. That would be really fun. You guys have heard us talk about Koeppel. Be like Jen, don't be like me. Organize your records.
The amazing thing about her stuff is not only does she make it, it's women owned. Yeah. You can get whatever you want on
Yeah.
them. So, you're not stuck in like rock, hip
Yeah.
hop. Like you can choose
A, B,
whatever you want.
C.
Yeah, you can be like my weird stuff, like whatever. So, and they're gorgeous. I really do recommend them. She is giving us a record block for part of our giveaway, which is really nice. And you can also get a discount for $10 off of $85 with Women in Vinyl. Another female-owned business that I want to shout out is Wax House Co. We did a profile on her, a blog post for Women in Vinyl. She's out of Knoxville, Tennessee,
Awesome.
and she makes some really beautiful standalone pieces. Being a big mid-century modern fan, the
Yes.
legs on them are very nice. So yeah, check her out as well. So yeah, in conjunction with those two women-owned brands, both Wax House Co. and Koeppel, there is another really great sort of desktop tabletop organizer that I love called Flip Bin. It comes in gorgeous colors. And I think that like it honestly has such good space to be able to fit a lot of records in, and it is seriously designed for perfect flipping. I would say you could probably get a good chunk of records in there, maybe 30, maybe even more. But definitely recommend them. Great for any style. You can get them in all kinds of colors. So check them out.
And
travel bags, our favorite travel bag.
Travel bags. I mean, if they made a whole suitcase selection, I would be into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen our latest posts about all the stuff that we like, and Selektor is definitely one of those things that we can't shut up about. I hauled my little maroon bag all over California with numerous and various records inside of it. It was packed to the gills. And I was so glad that it was padded on the inside because I was worried about my acquisitions from Amoeba. But everybody made it back safe to Canada, and that was fine. But I literally went down with 50 7-inch records in that bag, plus another 20 10-inch records. And like on the plane, I had some other stuff like crapped in there too, like my passport and all the other kind of things. And not only a travel bag, but also a record bag. That became my like day-to-day wandering around Los Angeles. So
yeah, I have to say it's really comfortable to use too. It's not like the straps are nice. It's a really good bag, truly.
Yeah, and hand stitched, hand assembled. There's an actual human that's making that for you, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love the Selektor family of products. Go check them out. They are probably in your favorite record store, unless you're in Australia, apparently.
Yes.
But
They're working on it.
Yeah. Working on that for you, Mikey. I promise.
All right. How do you store your records?
Oh, God. I mean, much in the same vein as organizing them, I feel like that goes right hand in hand. I am a huge fan of the IKEA Kallax collection. I find that they are sturdy and spacious enough to handle what I put them through. I have them at the studio to handle inventory as well as at home to handle collection stees. Do you guys put a pool noodle at the back of yours too, so they don't go out the back?
We don't, but we have them flush against the wall so we can kind of push them back. I know some people like them all the way forward.
Yeah.
But no, and we have so many. I mean, it's sort of like a Tetris situation where I'm like, maybe we need a few more. Where are we going to put them? Oh, we'll stack them on top of this one.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there aren't a lot of other like good options, I don't feel like.
Yeah, unless you're custom building, I feel like the Kallax are kind of the most universally accepted record collector standard.
We've also tried out a company called Deep Cut Co. They're a US brand. just a few. I think it's a family, a few guys. And those you attach to the wall. So at first I was like super nervous because they're just like a single cube. But the system that they have in place to attach them to the wall is super secure, and we've filled those completely,
Oh,
and
wow.
they are totally fine. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but if you do it correctly, they're awesome.
If you need a renovation home project. Yeah, storage, I mean, is always one of those things where you scope out your living situation and you're like, okay, how am I going to put this in here?
Yep.
Deciding on an apartment when I was moving back to Toronto, I was like, okay.
Buying a house, our realtor was like, oh my God. And we were like, we just need enough space for the records.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, Henry Rollins has like converted the garage into his like collector environment, which is why I want to buy his house. Purely just for that.
Just for that.
Just for that. But it's one of those things where it's like, if records are a thing that you're prioritizing in your life, storage is a very good investment. It is furniture, obviously, and you need to have the space. But yeah, don't cheap out on random bookcases. Make sure that you are absolutely giving your collection the support that it needs.
And I was just looking up because you mentioned the pool noodle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a company, the guy that runs Least of All, the cutting
cut dudes.
He has another kind of side project called Turntable Revival, and they make these backspacer things. So you can get those too and put those in.
Yeah, they're good. Just to give your records something to butt up against so they don't go right out the back.
Yeah.
If you have these, I have really wide and tall baseboards, so my shelves can't sit up against the actual wall, so that I can sometimes put. You're like, oh no. You also don't want to damage your jackets, right? Like,
yeah.
I am forcibly putting this back, and then you just put it back a little bit too far. So don't want to do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Storage goes with organization, which I am always 50-50 on.
And then we are going to move out of Gearland and out of like physical realm. And now we're going to talk about some like software.
Yes. And so I do not use this software. So I'm going to default to you to tell people about two awesome software companies that are very generously giving some things to part of our giveaway, but are also things that Women in Vinyl board member Jet and also Robin use.
Yeah. So as part of our end of year stuff that we like kind of episode, we collectively as a board were talking about things that could enrich the people that are listening to the show and are starting their journeys either with records and turntables or in audio and pursuing mastering, being a creator, being an engineer, all of that kind of thing, because that's what we stand for, that's what we encompass, and that's what we're here to help you with. And the incredible humans over at Avid have blessed us with a 1-year subscription to Pro Tools. Whoa. Yeah. That's like, that's an $800, that's USD. So it's like 2,000 Canadian, just kidding, dollar value. And that's across the board, the industry standard for audio production.
Yeah.
Some people love it for mastering. Some people don't use it for mastering. There's other software and things that people use, but the nuts and bolts of production and creating music these days are mostly in Pro Tools. So this subscription includes the complete plugin bundle. It's got heat, it's got extra expert plus, and all kinds of other things. So because they're going to be doing that for us, it's going to be in bundle bundle 2. We're going to put that in bundle 2. Yeah. As well as Avid and Pro Tools. The legend, the myth, the incredible Jack Galindo has also secured an incredible deal with iZotope, and they've given us the ultimate studio sidekick featuring plugins with AI powered assistants that fuel process and personalized starting points. That's for mastering and mixing. I use iZotope in my mastering DAW, and I'm super happy with it. I probably don't use it to the extent that Jet does because she's way better at her job than I am. But you can finish tracks that sound great, and it's available on any, you can optimize for streaming. I mean, there's a super great EQ in there. You can look at your phase balance and all that kind of stuff. There's creative effects, sonic shaping, assistive mixing, intelligent mastering. There's repair and balancing and learning resources. Jet has written so many articles for iZotope, I can't even begin to tell you where to start. I've even contributed to a little bit on there as well. And that is going to be it's a pro subscription. I mean, you don't have to be a professional, but this might be the door that opens to making you a professional. And that's what we want to do. Yeah. And that's going to be in bundle 1. We want to give you the tools to be whatever you want to be in all of this space. So you can take that iZotope subscription and you can create till your heart is content. Learn all the things. And then, as usual, our buddy Scott over at otherrecordlabels.com has still given us a 50% off code in his store. That's WiV50 for all of the different resources that he has compiled and accumulated there. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at that site.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Jen, but
he's made a whole Women in Vinyl page even.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing the kind of things that are there. If you want to start a label, have questions about starting a label, definitely go check out what he has to offer.
Yeah, even if you just want to understand how to optimize your own entity, like being a band, being a solo,
absolutely, yeah,
a solo producer, being a solo creator. If you're out there just to singer songwriter steez and you're like, I'm going to self-manage and I'm going to self-release, he's got a whole bunch of stuff that will make you more successful than trying to navigate those roads unassisted.
Like how to set up your record. There's a whole vinyl package available. So really
there's budgeting things, a release calendar, how to do social media, there's contracting. There's all kinds of stuff that's super helpful at any part of your career. You can, Lord knows, we can all refine steps of what we're doing. Yes. Especially when it comes to business. So save yourself a little bit of money, give a little bit to Scott so that we all succeed. Go to otherrecordlabels.com and use the code WIV50 at checkout and get on the road to success. So let's talk about our bundles now that we've given all of these hints.
Yes. So first of all, we really appreciate everyone being so supportive of this first year of podcast land.
Yeah, whoa.
And so we really, wanted to reach out to people that we support in the community. A lot of these people or companies that we've talked about. So we have put together a couple awesome bundles, and the way that you can enter, if you would like to enter on social media, be on the lookout for a post about sponsors. And you would want to comment on that post, like it, and tell us what your favorite episode is. We really want to hear from you. So, Truly, like Robin and I, we want your feedback. So
Yes.
please leave it there. Anybody that leaves a comment, we will randomly select. Please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Anyone that leaves a review will automatically be entered. And then, of course, Patreon, because of your support, you're already in. So if you want to go enter again, go for it.
Get in there. Get in there. But please, 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 we need the reviews to help bump us up in all of the recommended podcasts and that kind of stuff. And we're really trying to dive in and help you guys understand the areas that you want to understand. But we can only do that if you let us know what's up, because otherwise we're going to keep that operating in this sweet echo chamber and just telling each other how awesome we think we are. So help us out. So to summarize, bundle 1 is a black Selektor bag, an Ortofon blue, a GrooveWasher branded Women in Vinyl kit, a Women in Vinyl slip mat, and a $100 coupon code at Glowtronics. A set of Eargasm earplugs, a pro subscription to iZotope, and a Koeppel Design record block showing off your sweet, sweet record. Bundle 2, Jen, take it away.
A Selektor bag in blue, an Ortofon Cartridge red, a GrooveWasher Mondo Kit, a Women in Vinyl slip mat plus a $100 coupon code to Glowtronics, another Eargasm earplug set, and a Pro Tools Ultimate license. And how to enter. There are 3 ways to enter. The first is you can join Patreon, which automatically enters you into any giveaway that we ever do. And if you're already subscribed, then you're already in. The second way is to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. And the third is to tag a friend and comment on the social media giveaway bundle post with your favorite episode. There's a bonus entry if you share the post in your feed and tag us. So all of those ways will enter you in. You can enter as many times as you want through any of those options. We will also recap this in the show notes to make sure that it's easy to follow up. You don't have to go through this whole episode again. And then important that the deadline to enter is Wednesday, December 15th. And we'll also note that everywhere as well. This giveaway is awesome. It's over $1,000 worth of vinyl goodies in each bundle.
Get into it.
We're pretty excited. I mean, I'd want to win one of those.
I mean, I want to set up my own account and be like, I think your podcast is awesome. Here's an anonymous email that has nothing to do with myself.
And please do email us, media@womeninvinyl.com.
Yes.
Anything you want us to cover. By the time this is aired, we're going to do a live because we want to ask you guys what you want to see in 2022. Yeah. But if you miss it, media@womeninvinyl.com.
Nobody asks for email, you guys. We're asking for email. Get at us. media@womeninvinyl.com. Check out womeninvinyl.com for the past episodes, the store, the job board. Go work with Heath. He needs people on the 3rd shift over at Gotta Groove. Whoa. And there's a library of resources. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review. Please, 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 please. On your favorite podcast delivery method. Apple Podcasts will get you entered into the giveaway. And you can contribute to furthering our mission at patreon.com/womeninvinyl, where we're going to have some sweet videos and you can see my silly face. You'll find all the B-sides, the deep cuts, the amusing extras, and contribute to the not-for-profit to further the demystification, the education, and the infiltration of more women and non-binary identifying humans into the vinyl making space. When we were recording this is the Trans Day of Remembrance for all of the trans people that were tragically taken this year due to violence. And trans rights are human rights. So be better. Bye.
This episode has been brought to you by Women in Vinyl and Red Spade Records. Thank you for listening. Please remember to subscribe, and you can always contact us directly by visiting www.womeninvinyl.com.